You're standing in the kitchen, you open the fridge, you look at that piece of red meat you bought at the grocery store for a price that honestly made you wince, and you think to yourself, this is what's going to make me strong again. This is what's going to bring back the muscle I've lost. I need to tell you something that might change the way you look at your plate from today on. There's a food, sold at every supermarket in this country, that costs less than $3 a dozen, and it can help rebuild muscle in people over 50 faster than red meat. Faster, cleaner, and with less effort for your body to digest. I'm a physician, and over the past several years I've been closely following men and women who came to my practice with the same complaint. Their legs were thinner than they used to be. Their hands didn't have the strength to open a jar of pickles. The staircase that used to be nothing now feels like a mountain. And almost all of them say the same thing to me. Doctor, I eat meat. I eat plenty of meat. Why isn't my muscle coming back? Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to reveal the 5 mistakes that may be preventing your muscle from recovering after 50 in increasing order of seriousness. And number 1 is going to surprise you, because I'm pretty sure you're making this mistake every week, thinking you're doing the right thing. But I need to be honest with you before we go any further. The title of this video talks about a food that may help rebuild muscle faster than meat. And that's true within a context I'm going to explain to you with full transparency. No single food works miracles on its own. What does exist is a smart combination of amino acids, bioavailability, and absorption speed. And when you understand this combination, your body can respond in a way that almost looks like magic, but it's just science. Let me tell you about Margaret. 56 years old, a school cafeteria cook for almost 30 years, born and raised in Asheville, North Carolina, mother of 4, grandmother of 7. She came into my office on a Tuesday morning with a complaint I hear almost every single day. Doctor, I don't have my strength anymore. I've fallen twice at home in the last 6 months. I'm scared I'm going to fall again and break my hip, like my sister did. When I did her physical assessment, I found out she had lost almost 9 pounds of muscle mass over 3 years. 9 pounds. Think about that. It's as if she had lost an entire bag of ground beef worth of muscle from her body, without even noticing. And what makes it worse? She thought she was taking care of herself. She ate a piece of grilled steak almost every day, but her muscle kept disappearing. And here's the point that almost no one talks about. After 50, your body goes through a silent change that has a technical name, sarcopenia. Translating that into plain English, it's the progressive loss of muscle mass and strength that begins slowly around age 30 and picks up speed after 50. According to data from the American Geriatrics Society, roughly 1 in 3 American adults over 60 already has some degree of sarcopenia. It's far more common than most people imagine. And this is where the conversation gets really important. Muscle is like a bank account. You make deposits during your youth, and after 50, automatic withdrawals begin. Every single day, without asking your permission, your body takes a little bit out of that savings account. The good news is, you can make new deposits at any age. The bad news is, most people are using the wrong strategy to do it. And that's exactly what I want to explain to you now. The 5 mistakes that may be keeping your muscle from coming back. Starting with the least serious, going all the way up to the most serious. The 5th mistake, the least serious of the list, but still important. You're distributing your protein the wrong way throughout the day. Most people eat almost no protein at breakfast, a little bit at lunch, and dump almost all of it at dinner. A piece of toast with butter in the morning, a plate with rice and a thin slice of chicken at lunch, and a big steak at dinner. The problem is, your body, after 50, has a smaller window of use. It can only synthesize a certain amount of protein per meal. Anything beyond that turns into energy or gets discarded. It doesn't become muscle. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed adults over 55, and the conclusion really impressed me when I first read it. Those who spread their protein evenly across 3 meals throughout the day gained significantly more muscle mass than those who ate the same total amount concentrated at dinner. In other words, it's not just how much you eat, it's when you eat. The 4th mistake, a little more serious. You're consuming protein without the amino acid that activates muscle building. There's a specific amino acid called leucine that works like the light switch for muscle synthesis. Without it, your body receives the raw material, but doesn't turn the machine on. It's like delivering bricks to a builder without giving him the key to the construction site. He just stands there waiting. And here lies a detail that changes everything. Red meat has leucine, yes, but in an average amount. There are sources with higher concentration, faster absorption, and a lighter load on your system. I'll get there in just a moment. The 3rd mistake. You're relying too heavily on red meat as your only source of protein. Look, I'm not against red meat. It has iron, vitamin B12, zinc, but it has a serious challenge for the body after 50. Its digestion is slow. It demands a lot from your stomach, your liver, and your kidneys. And in many people over 50, stomach acid production has already dropped. The result is that part of the protein passes through the intestine without being properly broken down. You ate it, but your body didn't fully use it. Picture a factory that receives raw material, but the machines are running at half power. A good portion of the material is going to come out the other side without ever being turned into a finished product. That's exactly what happens with red meat in many older adults. Before I reveal the 2 most serious mistakes on the list, I need to ask you one thing. If this content is helping you, if you're learning something you didn't know, please hit the like button right now. That simple gesture helps this video reach more people who need this information, especially anyone who has a mom, dad, grandmother, or grandfather going through this. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do that now and turn on the notification bell. And tell me in the comments which city you're watching this video from. I love seeing where this community is growing. Back to our topic. Let me tell you about Frank, 68 years old, retired textile mill worker, born in Birmingham, Alabama, a widower for 4 years now. He came to my office brought in by his daughter because he was getting thinner and thinner. Doctor, he eats well, but he's drying up like a stick. When I asked him what he was eating, he answered with pride, Doctor, I eat steak every day, lunch and dinner, steak with potatoes. I'm doing it right, aren't I? Look at that, steak with potatoes, every day, twice a day. And his muscle kept disappearing. You know why? Because he was making 2 mistakes at the same time. He wasn't diversifying his protein source, and he barely ate any of the food I'm about to reveal to you in just a moment. Now we get to the second most serious mistake on the list. You're not pairing your protein with resistance stimulus. Muscle needs 2 signals to grow or even maintain itself. The nutritional signal, which is the protein at your meal, and the mechanical signal, which is muscle contraction against resistance. Without the second signal, the first one tends to turn into fat. Think of it this way. You can fill up your car's gas tank, but if you don't turn the engine on, the car doesn't move. Eating protein without moving your muscle is filling the tank with the engine off. And I'm not talking about heavy gym work or lifting barbells. I'm talking about 2 or 3 times a week, 10 to 15 minutes of simple exercises using your own body weight or resistance bands. Standing up and sitting down in a chair 10 times. Rising onto your tiptoes 20 times. Pushing against the wall with force, like a standing push-up. Things any person at any age can do right at home. And now, mistake number 1, the most serious of them all. The one that almost every American over 50 is making without realizing it. You're ignoring the cheapest, most accessible, and scientifically most efficient food for rebuilding muscle mass after 50. And that food is the egg. I know. You were expecting something more exotic, more expensive, some berry from the Amazon, some imported seed. But the truth is simple. It's at every grocery store. It costs about $0.25 per egg, and it contains a combination of amino acids that science considers the gold standard for protein quality. Let me explain to you why the egg can help rebuild muscle faster than red meat in people over 50. First, it has what's called a high biological value protein. Translating that, your body absorbs and uses almost everything that goes in. Red meat has good absorption, around 80%. The egg goes above 90%. In some studies, it reaches 97%. It's like comparing a sponge that absorbs almost everything to a sponge that lets a lot of water slip through. Second, the egg is rich in leucine. That amino acid I told you about, the light switch for muscle synthesis. A large egg has about half a gram of leucine. 2 eggs at breakfast already deliver almost the amount needed to activate muscle synthesis at that meal. Third, the egg is easy to digest. For a body in its 50s, 60s, or 70s, with lower stomach acid production, this makes all the difference. Think of it this way. Meat is a closed box wrapped in heavy-duty tape. Your stomach has to work hard to open it. The egg is a box with a simple lid, opens easily and delivers the content quickly for the intestine to use. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed older adults who added 3 eggs a day to their diet over 12 weeks. The result was significant. Increased muscle mass, increased hand grip strength, and improvement in bone health markers. And here is where the conversation gets really important. These results showed up without heavy gym work, without expensive supplementation, without anything exotic. Just eggs, spread throughout the day, and light physical activity. And here I need to make a confession. What hurts me most as a physician isn't when a patient arrives with advanced sarcopenia. It's when they tell me, Doctor, I always avoided eggs because someone told me they were bad for my cholesterol. Years and years deprived of a food that could have preserved their muscle, their strength, their independence. all because of older guidance, based on studies from the 1960s, that the scientific community itself has already revised and updated. More recent research, including from the American Heart Association, has shown that consuming up to 1 or 2 eggs per day, for most healthy people, is not associated with a significant increase in cardiovascular risk. And anytime you're making any change to your diet or treatment, please talk to your doctor. That's a guideline that never changes. But the information needs to reach you first, so you can have that conversation with your physician on equal ground, with evidence, with informed questions. Now let me show you, in practical terms, how to apply this starting tomorrow. No complications, no high cost. The first change is putting 2 eggs into your breakfast. Scrambled, boiled, poached, any way you like them. That breakfast becomes a meal that delivers the leucine dose to activate muscle synthesis early in the day. You leave home with the engine running, and honestly, this single change is already enough to open the first muscle-building window of the day. The second change is distributing protein across your 3 main meals. Don't dump everything at dinner, an egg, or a piece of chicken, or a piece of fish at each meal. Think of your body like a bank that opens 3 times a day, and each time it only accepts a certain deposit limit. There's no point in bringing everything at the end of the day. The bank is already closed. The third change is doing at least 3 short exercise sessions per week, 10 minutes each. Standing up and sitting down in a chair, 20 times. Rising on tiptoes, 30 times while holding onto the kitchen counter. Pushing the wall with force, 10 times in a row. These simple movements send the mechanical signal that the egg needs to turn into muscle. Without that signal, the egg goes in and just turns into energy. And the fourth change, maybe the most underestimated of them all, drinking water throughout the day. Muscle is 75% water. Without hydration, it shrinks, loses elasticity, loses function. A large glass when you wake up, 1 every couple of hours throughout the day. Not complicated. Doesn't cost a thing. Already changes everything. And listen, I want to tell you how Margaret is doing today. 3 months after that first consultation, she came back to my office with her body composition test results in hand. She had regained almost 4 pounds of muscle mass, and she said to me, with that warm Carolina way of hers, "Doctor, it feels like something changed on the inside. I'm walking up the stairs at home without needing to stop halfway. I'm able to carry my grandbaby in my arms again. It's not normal to just accept losing your muscle as you age, and you don't have to accept living like that." Let's recap what we learned today. Muscle after 50 requires strategy, not brute force. Red meat has its value, but it can't be your only source of protein. The egg is the cheapest, most accessible, and most efficient food for helping rebuild muscle mass at this stage of life. The distribution of protein throughout the day matters as much as the amount. And without mechanical stimulus, protein tends to turn into fat, not muscle. Your body is not your enemy. It's constantly trying to balance itself, maintain itself, rebuild itself. When muscle disappears, when strength fades, when the staircase becomes a mountain, those are signals. They're calls for help that your body is making. And the answer to that call may be sitting on the shelf at your local grocery store, in a simple carton of eggs. Send this video to that mother who complains she can't open jars anymore, that father who stopped climbing stairs, that uncle who keeps getting thinner without knowing why. This information could give back the independence of someone you love. In the next video, I'm going to reveal the physical signs of low magnesium that show up in your hands, in your feet, and in your sleep. Signs that 90% of people confuse with normal tiredness, but that may be telling you your body needs urgent replenishment. You're not going to want to miss this. Take care of your muscle. It's the bank account that supports your independence every single day of your life.